Sea of Thieves was originally announced in 2015 and came out in 2018 on Xbox and Windows. When they ported the game to Steam 2 years later, people realized that the devs have been adding content every 1 or 2 months since release, which added up to extensive amounts of PvP and PvE content, including story-focused tall tales and a separate arena mode. With different types of progression, such as the commendations, and heaps of lore to find, it gained millions of players and a Steam community within the span of days. There seems to be no end to its growing popularity, as the latest DLC saw Captain Jack Sparrow arrive to the game in all of his glory. The expansion brought us 5 new tall tales, letting you venture alongside a range of characters, yet again beating up Davy Jones. As all things though, these new story missions weren't quite created equal. Before we even get into them, I have to say that I am not a big fan of the introduction. Before every mission, or almost every single one, you float along in the water very slowly, and you hear an artificial sounding voice kind of introduce or narrate for you. Now, there is nothing really wrong with that. It feels kind of like they were imitating the style of a Disneyland ride, and it just kind of pulls me out of the story. The first mission brings us more classic Sea of Thieves style puzzles, some pirate fantasy writing, and adds to the Sea of Thieves lore. Perhaps it's more simple than the usual puzzles the game offered, but hey, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Also, the finale goes kinda hard for the first mission of the new DLC. The second mission is where the bugs start appearing. Sure, the combat is still quite fun, the story is interesting and the secret naturally fit in, but the people have reported one of the main puzzles that you have to do malfunctioning. I've even encountered missing textures, and this one goddamn pulley always refuses to work. I do not quite understand how one of the most basic interactive terrain elements of this game suddenly stops working in this DLC, but well, I guess I have to just press random buttons for 3 minutes every time I try to get over this. I would say that there are still redeeming qualities about this mission, since it largely expands on both the lore of the world and the combat of the game in general. I still kind of enjoyed it. Unfortunately, it kind of ends up being less interesting than the first mission, as it has a pretty cool intro, and it's all just slow and steady buggy puzzle from there. The fourth mission, is the first mission to be more Jack Sparrow focused. With nothing but momentary appearances before, here Jack actually becomes a companion to the player as they explore a fortress, learning about Dave Jones and his past. It's kind of a mixed bag, as the game definitely holds it by the hand more than before. Where before you were an adventurer who happened to need to recruit Jack, here you kind of follow him around and happen to be useful. It doesn't fully take away from the gameplay. Overall looks of this mission and the lore and secrets make it still interesting enough for me. The fifth mission is the one that I don't want to spoil as much, but it focuses more on naval combat, which, looking at basically all of the Pirates of the Caribbean movie finales, fits perfectly. Again, I won't talk about this one as much, but while it's more straightforward, it's, I think, perfect for the occasion. And I guess it's time for the third mission. Now, here it feels like someone really just wanted to reduce my enjoyment of this DLC. Instead of writing its own independent story, this chapter is a retelling of all the scenes you know and love from the movies, with the game literally handing you a book listing them out. I do enjoy the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, I swear I do. However, that does not mean that I want to have to follow along after Jack step by step. One of the good features of the Sea of Thieves Tall Tales was always the quality of the original writing. Every aspect of this mission seems to be made to be tedious, as finding the collectibles to unlock the achievements has you crawling around through a swamp and swimming through a tight canal in a rowboat. I know it is easy to complain, but goddamn, I might not be the best at this game, but having to try and turn around in this tunnel due to tapping the wrong oar once cost me about 5 minutes of frustration each and every time. I have to say, this is hands down basically my least favorite tall tale from the whole game. It's tedious, at some points it's boring, and it's downright annoying. I suppose it's not without some positive attributes, as some of the platforming is kinda fun, but this is 100% the worst part of the whole DLC. Mentioning the commendations, the DLC also comes with a bunch of rewards for those who completed it. I definitely appreciate the shanty, because, you know, the DLC is called A Pirate's Life, you give us the song A Pirate's Life. Perfect. But can anybody tell me why in the world the visual set based around Davy Jones is colored like a goddamn Nerf gun? It really feels like they looked at the Flying Dutchman and said, let's do the opposite. Instead of the recognizable sea green, dark browns and greys, we have this yellow, purple, whatever else mashup. I'm partially colorblind and even I see the weirdness of this choice. I would much more appreciate getting to make your boat look like the Dutchman, but I guess instead we get to embrace a water gun aesthetic. Also, not giving us a curse to make our pilot look like a part of the Dutchman's crew just feels like a huge missed opportunity. All in all, I guess, how would I rank this expansion? The PvE content was always my favorite part of the Sea of Thieves, and you know, these new missions give me more of it. I definitely wish we could get rid of the introductions, which just feel awkward, or just make the narrator sound a bit more believable. I know it's supposed to be the first captain warning you, but it just sounds like he's talking for a speaker. Also, the third mission is the absolute black sheep of the bunch. I'm a fan of tall tales, so I completed all the commendations, but looking for the generals in the Tiadalma swamp just made me miserable. Since the second mission seems to bug out for about 80% of the player base, that leaves us with almost 50% success rate for the missions, but you know what? I think it's still a good enough DLC. Jack was fun to hang out with, the rest of his crew was also there. I enjoyed the performance of the Davy Jones voice actor, and the game definitely achieves some exciting and sometimes even moving moments. I'd say if you don't criticize it too harshly, you might just enjoy yourself. Either way, that will be all from me for today, so thank you very dearly for watching, I really hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!